What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is ASAS Studio. It's a new year and I think we've rested enough, so we need to post and share some useful content with you guys. So here we are with another retouching tutorial, and this time around, you know how we always do it. We normally use Capture One and Photoshop to make our image more looking more retouched and fine, giving it a fine finish. So today we're going to be using this picture of this model right here. And so let's dive right into the tutorial. And before that, I'm going to say a very big thank you for your support last year and this new year. I pray we are all going to make things work out. And let's continue with what we have. So now we have this beautiful model here, and what we want to do before we take it to Photoshop to do some fixing of the skin textures and the blemishes. Of course, we can actually do it in Capture One, but I just want to use this I like using Capture One to correct some little things, just like the skin textures and the colors, and mostly the highlights and the blacks. So now let's take a close look at our skin. You can see that we have different skin tone or skin color within here and here, and also here and below our cheek. You can also zoom in. So some places are actually yellow, some places are actually kind of purplish in color. So I'm going to fix that. But before that, our teeth is also not white and our eyes is also not white, so we can actually use the white balance to fix that. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new fill adjustment layer, and I'm going to call this white balance. So let's make the this tutorial as short as we can, so we'll go straight to the point. And this white balance, this layer is just for is to make the photo not indestructible. And let's go to the white balance panel. We can see it in the editor exposure or the color balance tool. So I'm just going to click the eyedropper tool, and then I'm going to sample from the eyes. So this is supposed to be white. So let's see our before and then after. You can see our eyes is actually whiter now. You can actually still work on that in Photoshop, but now we've actually gotten the picture to at least 20% of how it should be looking. So this time let's fix the skin tone or the skin color. So I'm going to create another adjustment layer, empty adjustment layer, and then this one I'm going to name it color skin or skin color. And I'm going to grab the magic brush and I'm going to select a skin tone. All right, so back to where we were. I've actually selected our skin tones or skin color, and we want to blend the skin colors. If you feel like, oh, it's not actually touching the inner part, you can actually right click and then refine edge, increase this. But I think it's actually okay for me. So where we're going to go to the color editor. Under the color, go to color editor panel. From basic advanced, you see skin tones. On the skin tones, now you need to watch this circle. Once the rectangle falls in this side, like from 0 to 90 degree, it's actually the skin color. So let's select this. I'm going to press M on the keyboard and turn off before and after. So now let's look for a spot we want the skin to actually look like. I'm just going to zoom in, and I think I like below our skin here, or let's say our nose. So let's pick somewhere here, and you can see pick somewhere here. It's coming down, pick somewhere here. So I think this place is actually okay as average. I'm going to zoom out, and then this is where we're going to be increasing and decreasing the slider. So for the uniformity tool, you are going to actually increase it so as to make the skin or the hue uniform, and also the saturation uniform. And if you want to make the lightness uniform, you also need to increase the slider. So let's increase the hue first of all, and you see some changes. Let me decrease it and let me show you something. And you can see over here it's kind of yellowish compared to this side, and this side yellowish compared to our cheekbone. So if you want the skin to look like this reddish part of our cheek, you need to select there with the eyedropper tool. But this time around, I want it to look like this part of our nose. That's why we selected there. So increasing. Now as I increase this, you are going to take note of this thing and also the saturation. So this the other side. So you can see that it's actually trying to blend the skin tones to the way this place is actually looking. So let's increase the saturation also. I'm just going to increase it to 50 something or 50. Let's leave it at 50. Then the lightness also, I'm going to increase it to blend. This is not actually affecting the lightness or any other thing. It's just actually trying to even out everything in the image. So like 20 is actually okay. Okay, let's leave it at 16, 55 and 100. Let's bring it back so it's not looking fake. All right, so this is actually good. Now the web I like the most is the amount. The amount actually determines how you want the total skin to look like. If you want it to be yellowish, you take it to the right. If you want it to be kind of purple kind of feel, the real one, you take it to the left. But I like taking it to the left. If I take it to the right, you see it's kind of yellow kind of skin tones. And if you take it to the right, it gives you this kind of original, but I like this one. And one thing I like doing, I like comparing it with before and after. So you can see not much difference compared to taking it to the yellow side, of which I would have avoided. So I'm going to take it back just a little bit, minus 3.1, and then I'm going to increase the saturation to give more. I don't want it to be different from the way it actually is. I just want an even skin texture. And for the lightness, just a little bit is actually okay to make the image pop out the more. So 1.5 is actually good. Now I'm going to create another one, new fill empty layer, and this time around I want to work on the lips. So let's name this one lips, and I'm going to make a selection of the lips with the brush tool. So let's select the lip this time around and hit M on the keyboard. So I'm also going to select the upper part and see where it's actually selected, and also this side. Grab the eraser tool, erase this side out of it. Okay, so hit M on the keyboard. Now we're going to go to the exposure, and it depends on what fill you want. If you want to decrease the saturation or increase the saturation, but I want to increase the saturation so as to bring in more colors and in on the lips. Okay, so let's increase it just a little bit, not too much, just like so. Okay, let's leave it at 25, and I don't think we need any eye. Okay, let's increase the highlights also just because of this place and also the white. And I'll create another last adjustment layer, which is the new fill adjustment layer, and this one I'm going to work on the overall image, and I want to bring up the blacks just because some the blacks details are lost. We can actually still fix that in the Photoshop. So let's bring up the shadows just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, just like so. And also you can actually bring up the blacks so as to get some details in the image. 5 is actually looking good. I'm not going to touch the highlights because it's actually exposed, overexposed before, but no much difference, so let's leave it. We can increase the saturation of the image, or we can actually leave it and then go to Photoshop to fix it, but whichever looks good. When it looks good, you can there's no actual rule, so I think it looks good like this. Okay, if you want to also increase the contrast, no problem, not there's so much. So let's increase the clarity. Also go to the structure. I don't want the clarity, I want the structure. That's too much, so around 4 looks okay to me. So let's check out before and after. You can see before and after, so we brought more life to the image. Now we're also going to bring more life when we take it to Photoshop. So let's head to Photoshop as we do more editing and retouching on the photo. So see you in Photoshop. All right, so welcome back. So here we are in Photoshop to do more advanced retouching. So let's make this snappy. One thing we're gonna do is frequency separation, and of course what frequency separation is trying to separate the color and the texture. So let's do that. To do that, if you have your frequency separation action, you can actually run that, but I don't like using that step. I just want to show for those people that are new. So just Ctrl J twice to duplicate, name this one color, and the upper one, name it texture. So what we're going to do, we're going to separate the color and the texture. So turn this one off, separate the color, select the color, go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and the more you blur, the more the details, the texture is going to come out. The lesser you blur, the more the lesser the details. So let's just increase it to somewhere around, okay, somewhere here looks fine to me, and then I'm going to click OK. So turn on the texture layer, go to image, apply image, and because it's 16 bits, you can see texture RGB 16 bits. You're going to do it like this. Go to on the layer, go to color, on the blending mode, go to add, and then you're going to invert the selection. Okay, this place is going to be scale to year 128. Okay, offset 0, scale 2. Let's preview. Okay, wait. All right, so sorry for that. I was trying to figure out if it was 8 bits. It's actually 8 bits image. So let's go to texture, image, apply image, and here select the color layer. Here select subtract and scale to 1, then offset 128 and click on OK. Change the blending mode to linear light. Yeah, I did mistake before. Sorry about that. It was actually 8-bit image. I was thinking it was 16, and although it was showing 16, so I had to check the info. So okay, so let's go for the color. We're trying to do frequency separation. For the color layer, choose the mixer to brush. For the texture layer, choose the clone stamp 2. So let's put these two in a group. First of all, create a group. Okay, let me move this thing up a little bit. Create a group for the two, and I'm going to name that group frequency separation, frequency separation. So open it up, and for the texture layer, you're going to use the clone stamp tool. For the color layer, you're going to use the mixer tool brush. So let's start with the color layer, and choose your mixer tool brush. Set the settings of the brush to what you see above, and start blending the skin texture just in the direction. And what I would advise is take note of this highlight, because the moment you start touching those places, it actually is going to start killing the highlight. So just little places you need to work on. And if you want it to blend more easily, don't blur too much. But I like blurring too much because I just want to get more of the textures. So I'm going to blend just the skin, and I'm going to come back. All right, so you can take your time and do more blending. So I've actually done little blending, and then we have like this. You can see how I've blended the skin color. So let's go to the texture layer and then click on the clone stamp tool, and for that you're going to hold down the Alt key, left click, sample an area, and then cover the blemishes by left clicking again. So I'm going to quickly do this. Alt click and then cover, Alt left click, and then go to the place and then cover. So I'm just going to quickly, you can turn on the align tool so that as you move, it actually moves with you. I don't like using that. I'm going to just use the same method to cover the air stand. I'm going to zoom in to see what I'm actually doing. So something like that. I don't want to see some distraction. Just cover. So I'm going to pause the video, and then when I'm done, I'm going to show you what I did. Alright, so I'm done with the adjusting of the texture. As you can see, this is before, and then this is after. So sorry about the other time again. I'd like to apologize. No one's perfect. I'm actually doing kind of live edit, and I don't actually edit my video after the tutorial, so I don't cut, I don't do anything. So that's why I just try and manage the time I use in editing. So let's move further. Now you see, after frequency separation, I actually like using the gamma exposure tool, just because I just want to make things pop out a little bit more. So with the exposure tool, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to take the slider up to bring more life and clarity to the photo. So I'm just going to leave it as at that. I'm going to put some color balance to make the skin glow or correct some skin. So color balance. So with the color balance, go to the midtones I'm not going to dial in some blue, so I'm going to take it just the add in some magenta, just like so. Think -5, just a little bit, because I already like the skin tone, and I'm going to put in some cyan or so. So let's put like -2. So now let's go to the highlight and then let's fix some things. So let's dial in some decrease some red for this. So -5 looks good. Increase some green for this. And let's say perfect place for the blues. So +5 looks good. Now this is where things get dramatic. The shadows. I like the cooler feeling for the shadows. So let's take it up just like so. +5, and then we're done. Let's see how before and then you can see and after, just a cooler to bring the image to balance the color of the image. So from this to this. All right, so this is where we're going to stop and see you in our next tutorial. Once again, this is ASAS Studio channel for music producers and photographers, and we'll be talk more about photography tips, how to retouch, how to make music, and so much more. So let me not bore you that. If you haven't subscribed yet and you're new and you enjoy the content I share, kindly subscribe and please turn on the notification, hit the notification bell to get notified anytime we post new videos like this. All right, so see you guys in our next video, and take care.